What is the client's role? In today's episode, we'll look at the client's role in counselling and how that role shapes the work over time. Counselling is sometimes described as a service that is delivered by a professional. While that description is partly true, it can be misleading if it implies that the client is a passive recipient. Counselling is better understood as a collaborative process with clearly differentiated roles. The client's role is not to perform, disclose everything, or arrive with clear goals. Instead, the client's role centers on participation, in particular kind of conversation, one that is different from everyday talk. At the most basic level, the client's role is to bring their experience into the session as it is. This includes thoughts, reactions, uncertainties, and areas that feel unclear. There is no expectation that experiences should be organized, logical, or resolved before they are spoken about. Counseling makes space for experience that is still forming. Another part of the client's role is engagement with attention. This means noticing what stands out during the session, what feels important, and what tends to be avoided or moved away from. This noticing does not require analysis or explanation. It simply involves allowing experiences to be present long enough to be explored. The client is also responsible for pacing. Counseling does not require pushing into material that feels overwhelming. At the same time, it involves a willingness to stay with topics that feel relevant rather than immediately shifting away from them. This balance is negotiated within the session and supported by the therapist. Different counseling approaches support the client's role in different ways. In person-centered counseling, the client leads the direction of the work, with the therapist providing conditions that support exploration. In more structured approaches, the client may engage with specific ways of examining thoughts or experiences. Across approaches, the common thread is active participation rather than passive attendance. We'll go into the other layers and different forms of counseling in later episodes. Another aspect of the client's role is communication about the process itself. This includes sharing when someone feels useful, confusing, or unclear. Counseling is not only about discussing life outside the session, it also includes reflecting on how the sessions are experienced. This feedback helps the work stay aligned and responsive. The client also plays a role in continuity between sessions. Counseling does not rely on homework or tasks unless explicitly agreed. Instead, continuity develops through awareness that carries into daily life. Moments of recognition, shifts in perspective, or changes in how situations are approached all contribute to the ongoing process. Importantly, the client is not responsible for making counseling work on their own. The responsibility is shared, but the roles are very different. The client brings experience and engagement. The therapist brings structure, attention, and professional responsibility. Counseling functions through the interaction between these two roles. Understanding the client's role helps clarify what participation in counseling actually involves. It removes the pressure to perform or improve and replaces it with a clearer sense of what the work is designed to support. In the next episode, we'll move on to how counseling is structured over time, looking at how sessions connect and how the process develops beyond individual meetings. That's the scope of this episode. Each episode focuses on one specific element, and this was it. We'll leave it here for now and move on in the next episode.